Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on preparing a competitive Principals Teaching and Learning Award nomination. My name is Dr. Dale Akiram. I'm the director at the Center for Teaching and Learning. And today I'll be talking you through a number of key information pieces related to the Principals Teaching and Learning Awards. In today's webinar, we will be discussing the required components of successful nominations, the evaluation criteria and the process, and also some strategies to strengthen your nomination package. I will leave some time at the end of this presentation for our guests who are joining us live so that we can answer some of your questions. However, this will not be part of the recording that is made available subsequently. Why does a nomination matter? Nomination for these awards are grounded in experiences of excellent teaching and learning. So before you begin your nomination, look at the awards and their criteria. If the nomination looks like it can be applied to more than one award category, examine the criteria closely and select the award where you can mobilize the most evidence about the contributions to new, innovative, and meaningful pedagogical experiences. In other words, submit your nomination for an award where you can tell an evidence-informed story about the impact of excellent teaching. And all of this information is available on our website around the criteria and the descriptions of all the existing Principals Teaching and Learning Awards. Nominations also matter as they build pathways and opportunities for future recognition of teaching excellence, with awards such as the Bailey Award at Queen's or the 3M National Teaching Fellowship nationally here in Canada. The requirements for each award is listed on the website, as I mentioned, and this is and should be treated as the latest and the most relevant source of information about the awards. In many cases, the nominator can come from a broad cross-section of individuals associated with the teaching and learning experience. This is, again, outlined on the award website. Typically, the nominator should be the person completing the nomination template, and more importantly, they are the person responsible for creating a cohesive narrative that addresses the following: the criteria of the template, the evidence available for that particular nominee, and the focus of the letters of support that are being provided. The goal of the nominator should be to bring together these three pieces to tell the most cohesive story possible about the nominee's impact on teaching and learning. The nominee for many of the awards can be an individual person or a teaching team. When responding to the criteria for the selected award, think carefully about the evidence that you have at hand. How does that evidence support the impact that the nominee is making? And please use the evidence as part of your response in the nomination template. For example, this can be references to summaries of data, quotes, and testimonies from a variety of individuals, etc. Lastly, strong nomination letters provide a comprehensive overview of the experiences and claims of positive impact. The best letters utilizes evidence to support the claims. For example, letters that are solicited and speak deeply and clearly to the experiences and impact associated with a nominee's activities will be very useful. We anticipate that most letters would say that the nominee is a good instructor. Better letters will go on to say what the nominee did in order to provide that good experience. Even better letters go on to include a description of the impact of that experience that the nominee has made, or perhaps it will also include types of evidence, such as quotes that demonstrate the impact. So a key duty of the nominator is to ask for letters from individuals who can speak to the criteria as much as possible in an evidence-informed manner. And the nominator should be able to connect the letters to the responses provided in the nomination template to build that cohesive story about the nominee. Looking further at the requirements, the nomination template has a maximum word limit of 3,500 words to address all the criteria. It's up to the nominator to decide on how they would like to emphasize the impact associated with the criteria for a specific award. So you can write as much or little pertaining to each criteria. It is up to the nominator to really think that through, but the maximum word count is 3,500 words. In addition to this, a requirement of the process, as I mentioned earlier, is 2 letters of support typically required, and each letter should be no more than 500 words and signed by the provider. The evaluation of the nomination package is done by committee, and this committee has wide representation across the university. The packages are evaluated based on meeting or exceeding the criteria for the selected award and the demonstration of alignment with the goals of the principals awards, which strive to also advance the university's strategic goals and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. As with all competitions, there is an element of the strength of the pool of applications for any particular award and the number of awards available that determines the odds of success. However, what we've observed over the years is that a cohesive narrative, utilization of evidence, and clear connections between the nomination template, the letters, and the wording, the phrasing of the evidence or the connections to the evidence. These are typically hallmarks of many successful nominations over the years. So I'd like to begin wrapping things up by refocusing a little bit of our time on the resources. And I cannot stress enough that the website contains the latest information, including links to the submission template, the documents that are needed, and the due dates of the awards. It contains all the information about the criteria and the selection committee, the adjudication committee. The sections on the nomination procedures and the guidelines for preparing a nomination package also highlight key information from this presentation that I've done today with you. With that, I'll end things here and say that we look forward to receiving your application soon. Thank you very much.